So, hey, my dudes, it is 2026 somehow. Yeah, so as someone who is uploading videos to YouTube, I'm like kind of contractually obligated to talk about New Year's and goals and projects and stuff. So yeah, I am getting ready to go to dinner because it was my birthday a few days ago. It is very overcast here, so I'm having to like light the hell out of this bad boy. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of just do like a get ready with me while I talk about some of the shit that I'm doing this year. So, hi, uh, post video editing page here. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself to you guys. Hey, I'm Paige. I am a designer and illustrator who seems to mostly be talking about art and process and like that kind of stuff. It's pretty loosey goosey around here. I don't have a great niche yet, or niche, or whatever you want to call it. So, if you're kind of interested in that kind of stuff, yeah, it's totally like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Okay, back to the video. So I've already done the moist. I did an everything bath today. It's my favorite. And I have already done. I do just a little bit of serum, so like my eye serum because I'm aging. And a little bit of like my vitamin C kind of serum first. I find if I do less of the liquids before putting on like primer and stuff, that my makeup seems to hold up a little better because I'm a greasy bitch. So yeah, I used some of this e.l.f. Low Glow primer because it also has a little bit of SPF in it. And this time of year, everybody's skin is dull as hell, including mine. So anything to make me look slightly shiny, I feel like right now I look like a glazed donut, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you know. So did that. I am gonna go ahead and set with a little bit of all-nighter setting spray. I can't even tell you right now if I'm doing this in view correctly, but it's the Urban Decay all-nighter. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that just to set the scene, prime the canvas, right? Oh god. Ugh. I'm sure I just got that all in my hair too. These little sprayers can be so hit and miss. I don't know if anybody else has any problems with that. So I guess let me talk to you a little bit about, oh, and also going to put a little bit of eyeshadow primer on because I'm going to do colors that match the shirt and I need the stuff to be a little more pigmented, right? So yeah, I have been doing these like little 5-minute figure studies in just drawing a figure in 5 minutes in this little notebook that I have over here. And that is kind of brought up some interesting because I did take a figure drawing class in college, or I think I took at least one. I may have taken two, and really did actually enjoy that. And you know, my work is mostly, I guess, figural. Like I draw people, so this has kind of revealed the like how do male bodies um, because in my figure drawing class, especially my first one, she really concentrated on the skeleton and then just kind of threw us into drawing people. Um, which, I mean, it's important to know how the skeleton works, but like the muscles would have been really helpful too. And we didn't cover that. No shade to the teacher because I really did like her. Um, and I just kind of thinking back to college and everything else, I'm, let me tell you, I hated school. I hated college, kind of the, you know, y'all know the rat race and the playing games of the whole thing. But I do find myself like really missing the the dedicated space to learn. Like those 4 years of college, like I soaked up every little piece of information that I could. And there weren't too many classes that I can say that I wasn't like genuinely interested in some way. Um, so, and I just really miss studio time. Like you show up and you do your task, right? I actually had a couple of professors who kind of commented on my work ethic. Um, and one, it was like, yo, dog, I'm taking a full course schedule. You're giving me this time to do it now that I don't have to do it outside of class. And I'm going to have so much shit to do outside of class. So this hour and a half to 3 hour dedicated block is like, it's what I got to do, right? And then two, especially in my like couple of final semesters, it was more because showing up for studio time was like my zen. Like I just literally shut my brain off and did my task for my allotted time block, and I didn't have to think about, the impending doom of trying to do all the things and then also get out in the real world and get a job and everything else. So yeah. Um and just I did do, of course, a vision board for 2026. You can probably kind of see it a little bit back here. And if, something like showing you guys how I did that is something you'd be interested in, totally let me know in the comments. Um, but one of the things I got is like the magician. I actually have him like printed off here. So I know some of you guys are like, oh God, not another like wacky woo woo white girl. Well, first of all, mind your business. And two, I think this card's super important. So whoever, depending on who you ask in the woo woo white girl community, it's either kind of like a Wheel of Fortune or Magician year. Um, Both of them are on my boards, but the magician is really about creativity, passion, process learning. He looks like a grad student. Like he looks like he could be a student teacher. Um, and he's kind of like a little bit of a mad scientist. And that's like something I really want to be more in this year, kind of like remixing and reusing what I already have in new ways. And so thinking back to all this drawing that I've been doing, this is like, I think I want to do like art school for myself, and I probably need to start on my actual eyeballs. So the first palette I'm going to be using is my Malibu Barbie palette. And bless this, there's a couple of them that got broken. It's real sad, but the packaging is fantastic. Probably one of my favorite sets that ColourPop puts out. ColourPop ones can either be like the coolest shit you've ever seen, or just like why are we doing more neutrals? I swear to God. So I'm gonna be using this kind of pink color to match my shirts here. In this vintage doll, which you see, she gets a lot of mileage. So I also, gosh, my thing is looking real dirty here. So yeah, I was talking to my therapist about all these things because I think she was very much of course, collectively, we're all like, yeah, goals, new year, tee hee hee. So she was kind of like asking me about that, and I was telling her kind of what I was thinking and feeling. And she's like, I used to be a teacher. This shit sounds so cool. Why don't you come up with like an art school curriculum? So yeah, I have started developing that. It's kind of like my first little bit of tasks for 2026. So it's kind of a twofold creative thing. I'm doing like figure study, like anatomies practice, and then I'm also resurrecting one of my fan fiction from the grave. I I used to be one of those kids back in middle school and high school. As many of us good little millennials were, and early Gen Zers were. Okay, I think I'm going to do this orange color and Soul Cow here. Okay. And let me remember where I was at in that train of thought. Um, so yeah, I just really want to be in creativity. So I do a lot of writing. Um, and then I also do a lot of drawing, and those are two things I really want to concentrate on this year. So this fanfic that I did, God, this would have been like 2019. So Devil May Cry is one of my favorite video game series, right? And when Devil May Cry 5's dropped, it was like literally all I could talk about or think about or do anything with for like 8 months. That hyperfixation, she hit. And yeah, I wrote some like Devil May Cry fanfic in like elementary school, in middle school and like early high school. And I was like, why don't we kind of rewrite or remix some of this? And that fanfic was already over like 100 document pages long. I never finished the final act. I'm a pantser most of the time. Like I'm just writing on vibes, um, and just let it carry me until I kind of hit the wall, and then like it and life happened, and I just never finished it. And it's something I've shared with a couple of people, but never posted it anywhere because I'm like, this is just for me because it is very self-indulgent. Let's see. Let me look. Does this look? Does this look even? It's hard to tell in this light. And then of course I have like really hooded eyes, so I swear to God, sometimes doing shit that like looks kind of shady. You know, I know all my hooded eye girlies know exactly what I'm talking about. So I think I'm done with this palette for the moment. I am gonna break out my Goth Dad palette. If any of y'all follow Goth Dad Vision Video on like IG, I love I love Dusty. He's wonderful. And so I bought his palette, and what's cool about this is it's a cool little mirror. So I am gonna go in with this creature shade right here, under my eye, and I'm so sorry. The allergies are hitting so bad. So yeah, I guess one of the things I want to talk about is how to even develop a curriculum. So I think it's really good to kind of start with a value or start with a topic you're really interested in. So in this case, I want to be more creative, or I want to be like in that learning headspace. So that is probably kind of the topic I need to kind of start with. And then I'm kind of say kind of what's your subject out of that topic, because figure drawing is an anatomy practice is like super vague, right? And like, oh yeah, I want to finish my fanfic. That's a pretty vague thing, and it needs a little better definition. So for me, thinking through art school stuff, um, my main thing is like how does that work? Muscle groups, overall structures of the body. And so from there, kind of thinking, okay, that's what I want to do. So how the hell do I figure out what good resources there are, or you know, how do, right? So I am doing more like physical. That's kind of one of my things this year, is doing more like physical resources. So I actually do have, I'm going to use this a little bit, Anatomy for Artists, Drawing Form and Pose. You can get, I just will say, if you want to get some more physical books, look on like thrift books. If they don't have it, you can typically get new copies for like cheaper than you would through like Books A Million or something like that. Or they maybe not be quite as cheap as Amazon, but I'm willing to pay a couple of extra bucks to not give Jeff Bezos any extra money right now. So yeah, so physical media like books. I've watched a couple of YouTube videos from a couple of different creators, just like talking about their favorite art books, just to kind of see what's out there. And then I would very much encourage you guys to look at like Skillshare, Domestika. Of course, you can get a bunch of stuff free off of YouTube. It's just that you have to search a little harder on YouTube. But dude, there is so much shit on YouTube now that I really wish that I would have had when I started. And if I had had all that, I would be like God tier right now, as I've already moaned about in the past. So yeah, and if you guys are like, wow, you sound so well prepared, Paige. Well, I have been thinking about this, kind of developing this for like 3 or 4 months, kind of at this point. So yeah, I pretty much say the next step, once you've kind of gathered some of that inspiration and stuff, is to, I'm going to say, develop your curriculum and definitely iterate it. It didn't just come to me magically, right? Like, I had to show you like a couple of things in my notebook that I have here. Oh god, where'd it go? Yeah, so like for example, if you just look, I have literally got like 3 or 4 different versions of this particular quote unquote curriculum, right? Like, I'm just writing like artists I maybe want to like explore more, what kinds of things I might be interested in, figure stuff. Um, like, yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy or beautiful. It just needs to kind of evolve. So I did that there, and then I like wrote more here. You can see like, yeah, I've just been listening to a bunch of podcasts and stuff and just taking notes, and like they don't have to look fancy. You just need to capture the idea, right? And then even here in my this notebook, I'm kind of dedicating to figure anatomy practice right now. Where did that go? Yeah, here's part 1 of art school curriculum. I'm just like writing shit down, and then I got a little more. This is kind of more of the final form of all that. So I've kind of decided, okay, these are the big topics. This is what I want to cover under each of those topics. And she was very much like, okay, if you're going to develop like a curriculum and a syllabus, you need deliverables. What are your like textbooks? What's your schedule? So I'm just kind of like thinking, typically in college you have like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday classes. So like one project I'm working on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one thing I'm working on Tuesday, Thursday. We'll see how this works out. I think I'm really just going to let myself like uh whatever is giving me the dopamine the most is the thing that's going to be doing. I'm a person who seems to work best when I can kind of work on multiple projects at once instead of concentrating on one thing. That's just something that's how I got through college, because it would be like I've had to stare at this one drawing or this one graphic design project for like way too long. Let me, I guess, go work on a paper for whatever art history class for a bit, just to reset my brain. I can't concentrate on single tasks like that anymore. So, yeah, that's how I'm thinking about that. In this curriculum, kind of how I have it set up in my notes right now, thinking of it like a semester, right? Like it's January to May right now. Um, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I have no idea if this might be too ambitious. It could very well be too ambitious. So it's going to be open to execution and experimentation. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's like kind of how I'm thinking through curriculum for 2026. I'm gonna just start with these 2 things that I want to experiment with and kind of go from there. We'll see how that turns out. Okay, so in conclusion, I did some of this off camera because the brush pens, the ink liners smell fear, and I couldn't deal with a come apart this morning because I messed up my eyeliner. So yeah, did some of that offline. Sorry guys. So I guess to give you other products while we're here, yeah. So ink eyeliner, I use the NYX, you know, old good old fashioned Epic ink liners. They're a brush, like a brush tip, because and it is waterproof, so you're gonna need some type of like oil cleanser to get them off. They last really well, but it's hard to get off. For foundation slash concealer, I bought this Ordinary, there we go, this Ordinary thing, serum foundation. It's pretty lightweight and little goes a long way. So, and it wasn't like crazy expensive. I use a lot of Ordinary skincare products. Lovely regular old elf lash and roll. This formula seems to be the one that I've had the best luck with, that is both good for getting length. I don't have a whole lot of lashes, so volume, we don't really get a whole lot of that, but we can get some length on them. And it also does not make my eyes itch. Like, you know, if you use a mascara and then just even your lashes itch, like the lash itself, and then your eyes itch and you want to die. Yeah, this doesn't seem to do me quite as bad. So please never change your formulation, please. And then yeah, for powder, I bought some of this Besame. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation in Spanish, but it's like a cosmetics brand that does a lot of like vintage inspired. So it's like a really pretty little palette. And I think it's just like their regular powder in like probably the lightest shade that they offer. And then my Pore Roxy Revolution blush palette. You can see one of them's already broken, and this poor girl she's been through it, but she's a good little palette with some good variety of colors, which I appreciate and enjoy. So yeah, I think my next video, and I'm holding myself to this because I'm telling you this, that I'm going to do a dramatic reading of my first chapter of my fanfic. I'm already wanting to die inside. No, I'm dying inside constantly, actually. Like, die on the outside, too. From the thought of, like, other than the two people, like, my friends who are going to be watching this video, who get to see me do, like, pretend like I'm an audiobook, like a narrator or something, and read this fanfic of mine and hate myself for it. So yeah, tune in again for that. So yeah, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.